Hey guys, welcome back to Screen Queen Stream. You probably know me, I'm Jessica Cameron, and I'm hanging out with this guy. You might know him, he's part of the Luchagore team, the very talented, very Canadian, and awesome Raynor Shima. This is part 3 of the interview. Don't forget to check out parts 1 and 2, linked down below.
You'll face times where you're going to have to cut stuff out or, cut dialogue out, or you're going to rewrite something on the fly because it's not working or something happened with the location. Oh my God. There's so many variables when it comes to, things going wrong, but things can go well too though, right? It can be like bam, 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 like we're getting stuff. Finish early on the day. 8 hours instead of 12 hours would be great. But I think we've had that happen once.
You're lucky, yeah.
I know, right? Like, out of all the times that we've been filmmaking, it's like, oh, we're going to have like a 10-hour day. And we're like, never say 8-hour day.
No, never.
It's like going to be an 8-hour day. Like, Yeah, it is.
You're like,
it's
no,
just a day.
that's going to be the day that you go to 16.
So you just say, no, we'll be done around this time. That's it.
Now, you mentioned that in film school you had to practice all aspects of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about producing that you love? Because I believe that's your favorite position, is it not?
Yeah, like right now, for producing, it was something that I've always loved to be on the creative, producing side, as well as, breaking down budgets and stuff like that. That's the kind of more boring stuff. But I kind of find joy in doing it because, you're building it. You're building the budget. You're building, the days that you need to shoot. How many people you're going to need on this day. It was something that I just really gravitated towards being very open with, and basically working with, Gigi on our ideas, and Luke as well. Of we got this idea. Sometimes I'd be like, I got this location we can film at, and we would basically just write a script around it, right? And then that's how we kind of started doing some of our smaller stuff. I would, be working with Gigi and okay, look, we could bounce these ideas around and say, okay, can we do this? And we're like, well, how much can we spend, right? I'm like, let's just say right now, $1,000. And then we would just start writing a script together. We'd all, poo in our thoughts, and then Gigi would go write something. And if not Gigi, would our writer Shane as well. We would always be like, this is an idea. We need to make it around this. We got this much money. And then they would go and write it. And then I would be like, okay, look at it and be like, okay, we need to take this out. There's too much in here. This is going to cost way too much. I'm like, what are we talking about? A bull's head ramming somebody in the face at 1,000,000 miles an hour kind of thing, right? So, but I just enjoyed, being on that aspect of, working with the script development. And then once we got the script done, it was doing the casting and doing the casting call sheets and, really working when we had, callbacks and casting sessions, really working with the directors and finding that right actor that's going to suit the role. And just also being very open with the vision with your director. I think it's such a crucial thing as a producer. Obviously, you and the director are, the top two people. You also have to support the director, but also support the crew and the cast as well. And I found that I love that. I love being able to take care of everybody when I can. And I think that's a great job as a producer, is to, not an armchair producer. I'm not an armchair. I'd love to be very hands-on. I just always engaging with everybody and making sure everybody's okay, and going back to saying, do you need anything? Or how can we make this better kind of thing. I've always tried to instill that and, be very appreciative when we're shooting on a day that, that's something that I've always enjoyed. I don't know, my mom's always kind of said, treat others as you like to be treated, right? So, if you want to be a dick to people as a producer, that just doesn't, to me, is not my thing, right? So
You're also Canadian, so it's
that's true too. That's true too. I've had my moments, I guess, but no, that's how I feel like I operate, and again, be very entrusting with the people that you have, that you hire, your team, your crew, and it's vetting everything. If you have to vet people. And that's from your key departments all the way, usually you vet your key departments more than anything. And then they have their people they usually bring on. But, usually if you find the right people, they're going to always bring on good people. And they're always going to keep coming back. Because as long as you're treating them properly, that's how I always felt. It's they'll always kind of come back as long as they've always had a good time. And always to make sure the sets are always a fun time. Even when they can get crazy and long hours, I've always tried to make sure that people are still having a good time. And that goes into post-production, and we're always working together on, our edits and our cuts, and discussing, where the scene could go if we changed it a little bit differently. So it's very heavily involved from basically the conception to the final product. That's what I love to do as a producer. I'm really involved from the very bitter beginning. Basically, it's just a long relationship in every project, right? And then once it's done, you just break it up, and you're like, okay, sweet. We did it. We did a good job. We did an amazing job, and we can move on to the next one, right? So I've always, I just felt strongly about being as involved, highly involved as much as I can, without being a nuisance and an asshole.
So you graduated from your program. What was the first project that you worked on? Was it El Gigante?
No, it was Choose Your Victim.
El Gigante.
Choose Your Victim.
Choose Your Victim. Okay, so sorry, I thought you mentioned you started that, but you started that during Gigi's education.
No, when they were finished too.
Okay.
Yeah, right when they graduated.
Gotcha. Never mind. I missed that. I thought it was like your year-end project. My apologies.
No. That was technically their year-end project.
Yeah. We had two end-year projects.
Well, they failed. They failed film school.
Yeah. We did Day of the Dead, and we did Choose Your Victim.
No, we did Choose Your Victim first.
Oh, okay. Choose Your Victim, then Day of the Dead, then El Gigante, then we graduated. Raynor, though, graduated way ahead of us.
But they had to do one more year.
Yeah, suckers.
They were stupid. But technically, for most people that have known our stuff and seen, really what kind of set us out was actually a short film, not a web series that we attempted. It was actually after Choose Your Victim. I think a really kind of calling card was Dia de los Muertos, and that we shot that in 2012. I think it was. God, it's been so long. And that was the whole stripper club, Sugar Skull. All the strippers were dressed in Sugar Skull makeup, really colorful stuff, and it was about women empowerment of taking on those fucking dirty piggish men that were going after them at that time, and it was just like this crazy moment of a huge bloodbath, and that one actually got picked up for an anthology, Mexico Barbaro.
The one that Gigi's on the cover of.
That's right. Her face is on the cover of that. And she still uses that to this day somewhere. I don't know. She took all the pictures of it, so. But yeah, that one is something that you can actually still see on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix USA
I'll
and
find
Canada.
it and I'll link it.
Yeah. Ours is actually the last episode. I highly recommend people to watch it. If you're into very different kind of horror, and it's all about Mexican horror legends and traditions. Some really cool ones on there, but obviously ours is really cool too. It's the last one. But I'm sure you will enjoy the other ones. If you don't, you can always just skip to ours. But I think that was the one that really kind of set us out. After we did Choose Your Victim, Dia de los Muertos was, the one that was okay, we learned all this from this series. Let's make a really cool short film. And Gigi had this amazing idea of I want to make this film with Sugar Skull girls and makeup and strippers and men getting beaten up. I said, that sounds really cool. And then we did.
I suspect there was a lot more to it. Although I love your Gigi impersonation because it sounds nothing.
She always makes fun of me somehow, some way. So.
But my impersonation sounds just like you.
Fuck
that. No.
I don't sound like that.
Yes, you do.
When I'm angry.
Raynor's you should put little emojis. Raynor sounds like Donald Duck, but in real life.
The Canadian version?
The Canadian version?
The Canadian, Japanese, Mexican version?
Yeah. Oh my god, how can I combine all that into one word? You can't.
Right? She did. She figured her own out.
Was it Japanixican? What?
Japanadian?
Japanadian?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I guess.
I feel like we're going to offend somebody.
Yeah. I am half Japanese, by the way, so that's so good. So that was just something that we kind of pulled what we had learned with Choose Your Victim, on directing and producing. That was Dia de los Muertos. We had 30 background. No, we had I think at the time it was almost 30 cast in total. And it was 70 crew or something like that too. No, sorry, not 70. It was 50 crew.
Wow.
So when we shot that over 3 days, and it was a big project. It was 15 minutes long. And that was a lot of work that went into it. Especially we had a lot of gore effects. We had a lot of blood. We had like one big stripper stage that we had to build like a week before we shot. And I remember like slaving away. Like that's when, again, wearing many hats, I had to do the production design on that as well. I made sure I take care of all the producing. And then, you know, I was like, okay, well, this is all sorted out. I'm like, okay, now we got to build this set. I was like literally heading down to like Home Depot and like picking up all this lumber and like building these sets, building these walls. And then like at the end of when we had all the set built, it was going into painting. And it was just like, it was literally down to the wire. I think I had one of our friends come down and do a huge mural of a naked chick in the background. Wasn't that Gigi? Wes. Yeah, he did that. It was crazy. It drained the crap out of me, but it was very intense. But I was so happy that, you know, once we kind of were shooting on the first day of shooting, and you know, we had all the lights because Luke had lit it already, and these lights just coming on, and it's just like, it looked like a strip club. We were in a strip club, and we had all these amazing talent as, you know, strippers, and all the dirty men that were just greasy looking, and you know, we were in a bar in Tijuana or something like that. Where was it supposed to be, Gigi? I can't remember.
Yeah, border town, but it was
Border
in
town.
high school.
Yeah.
And the teacher walked in.
Oh yeah.
The teacher walked in because I didn't tell the teacher what we were filming, and I was sneaking in VFS students still. And they're like, "What are you filming?" Naked girls walking all over the hallways and VFS students. That's when Luke and I got in big trouble. It was so worth it.
Yeah.
How much big trouble?
Like,
But they already
pretty
finished
big
school,
trouble.
so
We were almost done school, but then we had to really convince the school to film El Gigante there.
yeah.
So you produced it. Did you guys how did you raise the funding for this one? Was there a crowdfund? Did you sell
For
it?
El Gigante?
No,
Or for Dia de los
the...
Muertos?
Yes.
No, the school funded.
The school funded that one actually.
Yeah.
Gigi and
It
Luke.
was the chosen project.
Gigi and Luke, yeah, they had a.
So did they not realize that there was naked women in it, or was like the script that you gave them?
Oh yeah, I didn't tell them the detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like girls basically beat men in a bar. I think they decided to leave out the whole stripper aspect, that they would be, you know, scantily cladded and dressed, and you know, basically nothing. You know, there's no nudity, but you know, they were pretty close. It was funny that.
I feel like what we're learning here is go to school in Canada if you want to be a filmmaker. Also, you know, like
They're not going to say no.
American universities are much more expensive.
Yeah.
Significantly so. Like, I've actually known people who will go to. It's cheaper for them to pay to not to pay out of pocket and not be able to work, because you can't work if you just go to school, and go to school in Canada because it's so much cheaper. It's like $5,000 versus $50,000.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I know for. I don't know if it's still like that, but like I know international students that go to Vancouver Film School have to pay double.
Yeah, same here. Same, okay. But even then, like, so when I went to school, and this is going back in mid 2000s, it was $5,000 or $6,000 from my tuition. So if you were American, it was doubled. But then the comparable program at Parsons in New York was like $75,000 a year and up. And then you still had to like pay to live. You still had to do everything. So like we had some American students where their parents were like, "Hell yeah, we'll pay double. We'll put you up. Like you'll live on a budget. It's cheaper for us to spend $35,000 a year for your education and you not work than for us to pay $75,000 just for your tuition, not including dorm, books, supplies."
It's so crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's hard for some people to do it too, right? So like, again, if you can't afford it, I think it's, again, you know, there's so much research you can do online, right? And like I said, there's so much, you know, you can go buy a cheap little camera at Best Buy or whatever, B&H, for nothing nowadays. And you can just, you know, practice in your home and, you know, try to mimic scenes in shows or, you know, copy them in a sense and just try to find that and just work with it before you really try to do something. Or finding an actor or some of your friends, you know, just really kind of looking at that. And it's crazy. Tuition's crazy nowadays. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that anymore.
So after that, you went on to do El Gigante, which obviously, that was the first time I saw anything that you guys had done, and it blew me away. I thought it was so fantastic. I saw it at a bunch of festivals in 2014. So what was it about that project that drew you to it?
El Gigante? Funny enough, I think it was the year before, we were actually at a film festival in LA, and we got introduced to John Skip. And I don't know, for people that don't know John Skip, he was one of the writers on Nightmare on Elm Street. And he he watched Dia de los Muertos and basically had said at the end of it, he's like, "This show's really, like, I really loved your short film." He's like, "I really like your guys' style. Like, you just have this unique kind of world building, really gritty texture. I think you might enjoy talking or meeting a writer I know, because they do a lot of splatterpunk horror, right?" So, and he's like, his name's Shane McKenzie. And he's like, he's never really written a short, he's never really, nothing to do with film yet, but I think you should read his book called Muerte con Carne. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So like, long story short, John Skip basically quick introed us to Shane, and Shane was like, oh, really cool. He saw our short film, and he was just like, I'm going to send you guys my book. And like a week later, he sent us this book. Literally, like, Gigi read it first, and it's like, okay, you got to read this. And I said, okay, we need to talk to Shane, like, right now. And literally, like, can we talk to you, Shane? And we were like, he's like, yeah, sure. And then we're like, we loved your book. Like, we want to make this into a movie. And he's like, really? And he was so excited. He's like, oh my God, I've never had anybody want to make anything of mine. And I was like, no, Shane, like, this book is really cool. And we're like, obviously we can't make the feature yet, but like, would you be okay with us, you know, working on doing a short version of it so we can try to get it made into a feature? And he was just like, oh my God, like, I've never, yeah, he was just so excited. And so like, okay, cool, like, let's do it. Like, and he was like so gung-ho about it. And we're like, okay, how are we gonna actually do this? Like, what can we take out of the book and make a short film out of it? So we basically decided on using the first chapter, which is actually called El Gigante. And it works so well enough, we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. So like, we worked with Shane and basically kind of taught him, you know, as a writer, as a novel writer, and kind of like a comic book writer, he already had an understanding of writing, but it was just doing the format of filmmaking, writing, screenplay writing. We had to kind of give him a little hand on. And yeah, we wrote the short film. It was beautiful. We were all excited. We're like, okay, how are we going to make this? And then that's when we kind of did our second, you know, Kickstarter campaign, where we were like, okay, this, you know, the first time wasn't good, but like, let's try to do it again. Now, Shane had a little bit of a name with some of his previous novels and books that he's had out, and you know, we had a little bit of a name too, because we had traveled some film festivals, and you know, we were slowly getting in there. So we opted to go with Kickstarter. We were trying to raise $5,000, and I think by the time that the Kickstarter campaign ended, we actually raised over $3,000 more than we originally were asking for. So from $5,000, we went to $8,000. And we actually had some backing from the school. They believed in us again for the next project, that they actually lent us their equipment, camera, lights. They saw that, you know, we were moving on up, and we were actually very vocal within the schooling system to basically say, like, you should continue to support filmmakers if they have an idea. And they did. They listened to it, and they were basically like, yeah, we'll help you out. So that, you know, helped us out a lot. We basically got some free stuff out of it. And yeah, we shot this El Gigante to make it look like we're in like a southern border down Texas. And we shot that out just outside of Vancouver in this, you know, industrial park that was basically slowly getting developed into buildings.
What?
Yeah.
So I know El Gigante is not available for your viewing pleasure, unfortunately.
Not yet, but we do have an announcement on that sooner or later. It will be going somewhere.
Begging for a combination
DVD
from you lovely folks.
I know.
Like, begging. I don't know if you saw Gigi's interview, but like, everybody wanted to know, why haven't you done a DVD? And even if you think you don't have enough content, what I was saying to Gigi is, I would love to see you guys just like make a drinking game while watching it. Put that as a special feature. You can literally, I'll film it. Like, it's fine. We'll just figure out a drinking game while watching our movies, and then that'll be a special feature. And then like a making of, like, even if you're just talking about it, inserting pictures. Like, I would watch 3 of your shorts with you guys doing a drinking game to them and also discussing the process 110%. I would take my money, I'll pay you $50 for a Blu-ray for that all day long. Like, you should totally do that.
Yeah, we've actually kind of tossed that around of like doing like a Luchagore compilation of like all of our films, and you know, kind of, it'd literally be like over like an hour and a half of content.
But that'd be great.
There's a couple films that, so one for instance, El Gigante, it is coming out soon. It's a TBA, which we're really excited about. I just don't think we can actually say it yet, but when it does, we'll be letting everybody know and it'll be available to watch at any time, anywhere. And but yeah, besides that, I think it's something that we should do. So if people are excited about that and want to see something like that, hit it up on Jessica's platform here, and we'll gauge it, because I think it's something that we should actually really consider, because I'd be really cool to do like I said, like a behind the scenes talk and kind of commentate over top of some of our stuff. And,
oh my god, I'd love to see a commentary. That'd be so much fun.
On all the short films and how we all fought at each other somewhere, on some shows. Hey, Gigi.
So after that, what was next for you?
Oh, so after El Gigante, we actually traveled quite a bit across the world.
Yeah, it played all over the
everywhere.
place.
Like, it got into a lot of the horror film festivals. That's when we really started, getting our name out there. And we ended up actually at Fantasia in Montreal at the Frontiers. We actually got Gigante in the Frontiers market.
So for those of you who don't know, the market component is where basically certain filmmakers are selected based upon the quality of their projects and the people involved to come and basically pitch to distributors, production companies, etc. With the whole goal of it is trying to find team members to help make that vision into a reality.
It was
So it's very selective. It's the best of the best. Frontiers and Fantasia are Fantasia is one of the all-time best festivals in the world, in my humble opinion. Mitch and his team are phenomenal, and they have raised the bar really high.
Oh, they have.
And of course, you wonderful folks were lucky enough to go there with El Gigante, the feature.
Yes. And yeah, it was our first big experience into like this industry platform world, and we were like, oh my god! Like, when we found out we got in, we're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like, this is big for us, right? And I think when we got down there, everything just kind of went, super calm and relaxed. And I was like, okay, it was totally overhyping ourselves, because we had to pitch in front of all these industry professionals. And I was like, oh my god, we're gonna die. And no, we nailed the pitch. We had some great meetings and great feedback, but at that time, it wasn't, Gigante's time to shine. We made some great connections that we were working with people today from it.
But at the time, if I can, it was announced it was getting made into a feature.
It was. We actually
attended.
We still have.
But life happens.
Yeah. So we actually had some distribution picked up for it, but at that time, things got kind of thrown back, and which kind of led into what we did after that was the big one, which is La Quinceañera.
Which I can never pronounce. I was waiting for you to bring that up, because I was like, don't make me try to say it.
It's okay. I had to say it so many times before Gigi corrected me. He's like, you keep saying it wrong. So I finally have it instilled in me, where I'm basically saying it. La Quinceañera. She hasn't corrected me, so I guess I said it right. So,
which was a big... It was a Warner Brothers.
It was a Warner Brothers Stage 13's, new digital platform that they were coming out. And I think, right around the time where we were like, oh my god, like, what are we going to do with Gigante? Like, nothing's moving. And then we get this random email where it's like, oh, hey, I'm from Warner Brothers. We're looking at this new platform. We really liked what your previous work was, El Gigante, and would you be interested in talking to us? And Gigi at the time thought it was a joke, and she had to send me the email. I was like, oh, well, let's respond back and let's find out. And then, a couple emails later, we're like, okay, well, this still sounds kind of right. And then they're like, okay, we're going to have a Skype meeting so we can, talk in person and, meet, at least on screen to screen. And I'm like, okay, well, this must be going somewhere. And then, we had like that meeting that day, and it was like, their screen came up, and it was like this huge WD logo sign in the back. Like, oh, okay, I guess this is real. And they were just that. They were really adamant on us working with them, and our vision and our kind of motto on how we did horror films. They were really looking at new talent, which I thought was really cool. They're giving a voice to new talent, and that's when La Quinceañera was created. Shane had come up with this idea where this 15-year-old girl basically witnesses her family get massacred, and her abuela are left to take vengeance on the cartel, kind of thing, right?
I love that.
And that was it. It just got made, and it was crazy. Like that was like one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had. Especially for a new startup, for a new platform. It was there was a lot on the plate to get that made.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal. I missed the screenings. It did do a festival run.
It did.
Do we have any update on the plans for its release? Or are we
There's that one's
waiting?
still to be announced as well.
Which is like it's so funny because like I'm always telling the fans like once you do your project, then it's usually out of the filmmaker's hands.
I know, right?
Like,
Yeah, exactly, and that's where it's at right now. We actually did at one point.
Like if it was up to the filmmaker, we would just release everything as soon as we're done.
I would.
Right?
I would definitely do that. But yeah, so we're trying to find the right home for it right now. But just don't give up on it yet. We will once that kind of gets known and solidified in where it needs to be. We'll definitely be pushing that one out as fast as we can. So.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for joining us for part 3 of my interview with Raynor. Now, where can the people go find out more information, aside from waiting for part 4 to drop?
So you can find me on Facebook at Raynor Shima, on Instagram at Ray in Motion, on Twitter at Raynor Shima as well. And then for our company, Luchagore Productions, on Facebook as Luchagore, Instagram, and Twitter, Luchagore Film.
Stay bloody. Oh, and don't forget, we have a Patreon and all that other crap out of Screen Queen Stream. Whatever.
Oh, damn, I forgot my own
I forgot my own stuff. It's fine. There'll be all these links below.
I know, right?